Greetings everyone, this is Stephen Thomas here with the Midwest Railway Preservation Society, here to bring you what's new on Grand Trunk Western 4070. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the May 2021 update. In the past months, our volunteers have been hard at work on a number of important projects with the 4070. Work has continued on renewing the cab structure with new metal. Repairs to the cab are just about complete, and soon it will be moved so that it can be sandblasted and painted. Supports were welded to the inside of the cab so that its structure can be preserved while the move takes place. In March, we brought the cab woodwork out of storage, and we were very glad to find that the markings that were put on them to indicate their proper arrangement are still intact. Work will continue to inspect the woodwork and replace deteriorated pieces with identical new ones. Also in March, Midwest Railway board members took a road trip out to Indiana to pick up sandblasting material. This will be used to sandblast the cab, locomotive frame, and tender frame, as well as other projects. The tender on the 4070 currently has trucks with friction bearings under it, and this is not compliant with the vast majority of today's railroads. Luckily, we have a former chassis system bay window caboose that has trucks with roller bearings, and it will supply these trucks to the 4070. This allows us to modernize the 4070 in a very simple and cost-effective way, and it will greatly aid 4070's future operations. Work has continued on reorganizing locomotive parts and locating them to centralized storage in our warehouse building. For years, the locomotive's parts have not been stored in an organized space, and relocating them to one building will allow us to continue our work much more efficiently. One of the more interesting items we found recently was a boiler tube that was tagged as being the last one removed from the locomotive when we began disassembly many years ago. In the 1950s, the 4070 took a nosedive into the pit of a turntable in Detroit. She returned to service after the accident, but she sustained a crack in her frame, and it has remained there ever since. As soon as space becomes available, the 4070 will be moved over to stall 4 of the roundhouse to have her number 1 driver set dropped using our drop pit so that we can gain access to the crack and repair it by welding. However, we have not used the drop pit in at least 20 years, so over the past couple of months our team has been hard at work restoring the hydraulic cylinder over the drop pit. Over the years, parts for the vintage machine have been scattered all over the property, and volunteers have spent many hours tracking down their locations and inspecting them for service. Work has progressed on rebuilding the available parts and acquiring new items, and recently, we tested the hydraulic cylinder for the first time. Restoring this machine is a crucial step in returning the 4070 to like-new condition. Last year, Midwest was gifted a plasma cutting table from our friends at Lincoln Electric. This will assist us greatly in fabricating our own new parts for the restoration of the 4070. Throughout this project, Lincoln Electric has helped us out tremendously, donating their services for fabricating new steel for the cab and tube sheets. We would like to thank Lincoln Electric for their generous support of our commitment to restore this magnificent locomotive to service once again. So in addition to the 4070, Midwest has many other projects, such as track work, maintenance on passenger cars, upkeep on the old Alco RS3, and the roundhouse, just to name a few. And one of these projects we'd like to highlight for you, and we'll toss you over to Nick Martin to give you the latest on the Mount Baxter.
Hello everyone, I'm Nick Martin, and this right here is our Pullman car Mount Baxter. It was built in 1924 and it was leased out by Pullman to such railroads as the C&O, the B&O, and many others. And we acquired this car in 1954, which means we've had it longer than we've had the 4070. And in fact, in 1983, we used the car for the filming of the movie The Natural alongside the 4070. Today we still use this car around the facility for special events such as open houses and special train rides. So come inside and I'll show you around. So right here we got one of the booths in the car, and as you can see it seats 4, and when it's nighttime you can pull this down and these turn into beds, and then you got bunk beds. And we have 10 of these in this section of the car. And if you come along with me to the next section, we'll come to my favorite spot in the car. So right here we come to the lounge area, And right over here is actually where Robert Redford sat in the movie The Natural. That's where he talked to his agent about his baseball career. And we've got all kinds of different seats in here, very nice furnishings. And behind you is the end of the car, the observation platform. It was closed off later on by Pullman, and it's one of the only passenger cars to have that. So while this car may look pretty good on the inside, the reality is it needs quite a bit of work. It needs truck work, it needs paint, it needs air conditioning work, and a lot of other items that need to be addressed. And all that work comes at a cost, so we are very fortunate that back in March, the John Emery Rail Heritage Trust awarded us a grant in the amount of $15,000 for work on this car. And we want to thank them very much for their generosity, and hopefully before long this car will come into the shop and it'll come out looking just like it did when it came out of Pullman.
And that's the work we've been able to accomplish this month on the Grand Trunk Western 4070, thanks to our hardworking volunteers, contractors, and generous donors. If you'd like to learn more about the project or to donate, follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, on our website, midwestrelay.org, and of course right here on the YouTube channel. That's it for this month. Thanks for watching. We'll see y'all again next time.